I'm remembering that it's almost been a year since our Anchorage 2019 earthquake shook. And my mom was visiting me from Rhode Island at the time. I remember waking up to everything shaking violently, and my mom practically strangling me as I was laying in bed, crying out my name. Ingrid! Ingrid! We're having an earthquake! And my first thought was, this isn't how I'm supposed to die. I had just been diagnosed with breast cancer, and that was heavily on my mind. And I had just started chemo, and so I was sick all the time. And that was what I thought was going to kill me. And as I got up after the shaking quieted down, there was another aftershock, which was pretty strong. And so we kind of surveyed the house. And the only thing I noticed was that this glass pitcher, which held sort of beach mementos that I had collected over the years, decades, beach glass and shells and some rocks, and a sea urchin and a sand dollar. And that had shattered on the floor. And the sea urchin and the sand dollar had also just shattered. And so we swept it up over to a corner because it was completely dark. It's November in Anchorage. And it was in the morning, so the sun hadn't risen yet. And it was pitch dark, basically. And I didn't want anybody stepping on that. I particularly didn't want the animals to cut themselves on the glass. So I just pushed it over to a corner and put some chairs and made a barrier so nobody could get over there. And then I went and got candles and found everything and, just tried to acclimate. And went about my day in the aftermath of the earthquake, picking up things. Books had fallen off shelves, and as I surveyed all the aftermath and heard from my son that he was fine in school, just shooken up. He had actually been watching, of all things, a video on the preparedness of earthquakes and thought that the effects were extremely realistic until his teacher actually enacted earthquake preparations, warnings for the kids. The only damage I had from that whole ordeal was that picture, which already had a crack in it. So the smashed urchin and the smashed sand dollar, that was it. I felt lucky. I feel lucky.